create new heavens and a new earth. The former things shall not be remembered or come to mind, but be glad and rejoice forever in what I am creating. For I am about to create Jerusalem as a joy and its people as a delight. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and delight in my people. No more shall the sound of weeping be heard in it, or the cry of distress. No more shall there be in it an infant that lives but a few days, or an old person who does not live out a lifetime. For one who dies at 100 years will be considered a youth, and one who falls short of 100 will be considered accursed. They shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For like the days of a tree shall the days of my people be. And my chosen shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, or bear children for calamity. For they shall be offspring blessed by the Lord, and their descendants as well. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together. The lion shall eat straw like the ox. But the serpent, its food shall be dust. They shall not hurt or destroy on all my holy mountain, says the Lord.
I'm reading today the Easter story from the Gospel of Luke. But on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they came to the tomb, taking the spices that they had prepared. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they went in, they did not find the body. While they were perplexed about this, suddenly 2 men in dazzling clothes stood beside them. The women were terrified and bowed their faces to the ground, but the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee, that the Son of Man must be handed over to sinners and be crucified, and on the third day rise again?" Then they remembered his words, and returning to the tomb, they told all this to the 11 and to all the rest. Now it was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the other women with them who told this to the apostles. But these words seemed to them an idle tale, and they did not believe them. But Peter got up and ran to the tomb. Stooping and looking in, he saw the linen cloths by themselves. Then he went home, amazed at what happened. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
We're making progress. How many people, show of hands, for how many people does it hurt when you get up in the morning? Church is a good crowd to ask this question. I knew I'd get that answer. It does. Everybody's got some sort of hurt, right? It's not just old folks. Up until 3 weeks ago, I carried a 20-pound child in a 12-pound carrier about a foot and a half away from my body. Not bad. Still hurts. And sometimes my lungs don't feel that great. Maybe you had a long day at work and your feet hurt. Maybe you were at a soccer tournament all day long and your whole body aches. But I reckon everybody knows that feeling of waking up and it hurts to get up out of bed. Maybe you were in a car accident and for the next few weeks it was just fire to get up out of bed, so you know that feeling well. Maybe your hurts aren't physical hurts, but still you know pain each time you rise up from your bed in the morning. And if this is what we feel in our daily lives, I think we can only imagine what Jesus felt like on that morning 2,000 years ago. He had been whipped and beaten. He carried a heavy cross until he could bear it no more. And then he had been crucified, which is a painful torture of muscular exhaustion. Can you imagine what it's like to draw that first breath? His lungs must have felt like fire. His whole body must have ached. He would have reached down to his side and then looked at his hands, and those wounds still hurt. His wounds weren't healed when he was resurrected. We know that because Thomas put his finger in his hands and his side a week later. And I've been thinking about that first breath. I've been thinking about how that first breath felt, how it must have hurt, because there have been times this year where it hurt for me to take a breath. And maybe you felt like that too. And it called to mind a book that my brother gave me a couple years ago for Christmas. It was called Devotions Upon Emergent Occasions by John Donne. John Donne's a poet. He was a contemporary of Shakespeare, but he was also a priest. He wanted to be a diplomat, but it didn't work out. He ended up a priest. He got sick. He got really sick. We're not sure quite what, but he was in his bed for 9 months. And during that time, he wrote a book of devotions. And in that book of devotions, he says, "Oh Lord, please let me get up out of my bed so that I can practice the resurrection." That is, he wanted to get up out of bed, because to get up out of bed, to rise up from bed, is to practice the resurrection. I don't know if I inferred this or if John Donne said it outright, but at least the way I see it is that every day we get up out of bed, we are practicing the resurrection. Every time we get up out of bed, we are practicing the resurrection. Every time we swing our legs down to the floor and our knees hurt. Every time we prop ourselves up on our elbows and maybe give them a little stretch. Even if we can't get up all the way from our bed, but we can lift up our head, or we can lift up our hand, or we can lift up our eyes, any of that. Anytime we rise up, we are practicing the resurrection. And don't we know that it can hurt? I'm not just talking about being sore anymore. I'm talking about the real practical experience of practicing the resurrection in our daily lives. When you wake up in the morning as a Christian, when you get up out of bed, you are practicing the resurrection. And then our job as Christians is to go forth and practice the resurrection in the rest of our lives, to practice the resurrection all day long. Our job is to go forth and bring life into spaces that have long been missing the signs of life. Our job is to offer healing to people who have been hurting. We forgive. We try to do what Jesus taught us to do. We care for the poor, for the marginalized, for the brokenhearted. We proclaim repentance to sinners, freedom from all that binds us. We visit the sick and the imprisoned. We house the homeless. We work to make sure that every single person on God's green earth knows that they are God's beloved child. Every time we get up out of bed, we go forth to practice the resurrection. And sometimes it hurts. You don't have to believe me. Bringing new life into the world can hurt. Ask anybody who has gone through labor, right? It's not a pain-free process to bring new life into the world. But it's a glorious process. Now, sometimes we triumph. Sometimes things go well, and it's obvious that we are practicing the resurrection. Sometimes we are victorious, and it's easy, but sometimes it is not so easy. Sometimes trying to bring resurrection into the world is painful. You're trying to help one family pull themselves together and drag themselves out of hell, and 2 more families slip through the cracks, and you can't do anything about it, and it hurts. You're just trying to be nice, right? And be kind to your children and their friends. And then one of them shows up at your door, and he says he can't go home because his parents saw something that he posted on Facebook about who he's dating, a boy. You're supposed to go to dinner with him on Friday. It hurts. For every stride that we make towards justice in the world, it feels like we go 2 steps back. We fight tooth and claw to get some good thing, or even just to not lose any ground. And still, we find ourselves, it feels like we are facing forces that are too much. We are overwhelmed, and it hurts. And if you've been practicing resurrection in your life, if you've been trying to bring new life into spaces in your world where you can touch them and bring something else, where you can be born again in this place, maybe when you get up in the morning, it hurts. Maybe when you get up in the morning, it feels like the whole world is arrayed against you. That you've lost a battle before it's begun. Or maybe you're just scared to face one more day of fighting and not seeing any progress. And I want to tell you that this is part and parcel of resurrection. Because taking up your cross costs something. Because sacrificing for somebody else is going to involve there being less. But on Easter morning, we know that it's worth it. Because Jesus hurt when he woke up this morning. And Jesus woke up this morning. Christ is risen, and we don't have to be afraid of what is to come. Christ is risen, and our victory is assured for us. Christ is risen, and the worries and the anxieties and the fears that we have already been conquered for us. Now, Paul said, "Oh, death, where is thy sting?" We know where the sting is. It's right here with us when we wake up in the morning. There isn't joy without pain. There isn't love without hurt. There isn't life without pain. But there is joy. And there is love. And there is life in Christ's resurrection. Tells us that the joy and the love and the life will always conquer the pain and the hurt and even the death that threatens us, whether it is far or near. The sting of death is nothing compared to the love of God. The pain will never conquer love because love has endured all pain and endured them on the cross, and yet love remains. And yet love is risen. Love has conquered. The victory is ours. So sometimes it hurts to wake up in the morning. And sometimes it feels like pain. But what it is when we wake up in the morning, what it is when we get up out of bed, what it is when we try to bring some new life into the world and practice the things that Jesus taught us, what it is victory. Every time we practice the resurrection, every time we do something that denies the power of death in the world and brings forth life, every time we say, "I forgive you." Every time we pray for somebody and we make their problems into our problems and we share those together. Every time we stand up for what is right and true and honest and good. Every time we make ourselves like our Lord. Every time we rise up in the morning and choose to hope, choose to live, choose to believe in this Good Friday world that we live in, that there is resurrection brewing, that good things are coming, that love has conquered. It might hurt, but it is the assurance of the victory of God. So as we go forth from this place, I charge you to go forth practicing the resurrection. Get up out of your bed rejoicing that you can join with God in making all things new. Bringing life into spaces that are long dead. Bring healing to people who have been broken by the powers and the principalities of this world. Bring grace to the children of God who are so often forgotten and forsaken by this world. And know that whatever resistance you encounter, whether it is inside or outside, it has already been conquered for you. And when it hurts, know that it is a sign that you are living and dying with Christ, practicing so that you might be resurrected with Christ. Because he is risen. And love has conquered. And the world will never be the same. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and